My name is Jim Bruckbauer, and I moved up to Traverse City 12 years ago to work at the Groundwork Center for Resilient Communities. And we've been going to Sojourn since about the fall. And yeah, I love Traverse City. I love this place. I love Michigan, and I'm passionate about Michigan cities and Michigan communities and how we grow as communities. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted to work at what was then the Michigan Land Use Institute, which then became the Groundwork Center for Resilient Communities. When I think about a resilient community, I think about creating structures and systems where people may not have to depend on one source of food or transportation or energy, that a community has kind of a diverse array of places where they can get their food. So, for example, not only could they get their food from the kind of conventional food systems that we have, but it's going back to being able to get locally grown fruits and vegetables here that we have in this region alone. So not only can you use those conventional ways to get food, but also, you have more options for accessing different foods. And same with transportation. It's creating a community where you're not 100% dependent on jumping in your car to get around, but you have lots of different transportation options that you can choose from. It's not to say getting around in a car is bad or anything, but there's a demand for more communities and more places where people can live that they don't necessarily have to depend on a car to get around. And so it's creating communities around that. And then the same with energy systems. It's having a kind of a diverse array of sources of energy that's powering homes and businesses and different places. So, and then diversity also within the people in a community too. That's something that we're starting to build, and we're starting to launch 2 programs around diversity, equity, and inclusion. One of the biggest wins that we've had in our organization as the Groundwork Center for Resilient Communities is it's these times where we have started a project here in Traverse City that has had an impact, and then that project becomes a model for other places around the state. And one is within our local food program. We started a pilot project here in the Traverse City region where we had an incentive program for schools to buy locally grown fruits and vegetables instead of buying conventional fruits and vegetables from places all over the country or the world. And when we started that program in Traverse City, we started talking to, it was very successful, and when we started talking to state lawmakers about it, they said, hey, this program was great and it worked well in Traverse City. Why don't we take this and create this incentive program for all the school districts around the state? And so they did, and it's just grown over time, over the past probably 7 or 8 years now. It went from a small kind of pilot project here in one school in Traverse City to all of a sudden it's a major statewide school policy for helping schools buy fruits and vegetables from locally grown farms versus farms all over the country and the world. So that's a really big accomplishment for us, and we love opportunities where we can take a good program that we've started here in Traverse City and make it a model for the rest of the state. I believe that I am called, and that we are called as a faith-based community to be good stewards of the resources that God has given us. And there are a lot of organizations working on that around. I'm excited that I happen to work for one of them, the Groundwork Center for Resilient Communities, but there's the Grand Traverse Land Conservancy. There are lots of organizations that are doing a lot of great work around these topics of creation care and environmental stewardship. And I feel like part of my role and what God has given me and my passion for cities and communities is to help the faith-based community understand some of these issues a little bit more and understand how they can get involved in having a positive impact and being a leader in these organizational structures that we need within the community.